Welcome back, you all, to more TwoSun knives. This is my final cut, pun intended. The last of three, at least for the time being, of my favorite TwoSun knives. There's a disclaimer in that statement, and that is that there are many more that I like, that I love, that there's just too many to include. I checked the TwoSun database here and I got somewhere around 60, maybe more, some undocumented ones as well that are hiding here and there. Found at least one of those that I never did a review on and included it today. You can guess which one that might be. So it's going to take a while to do 6 blades and talk a little bit about each one. So I'm going to start without further banter. Blade banter. That was a Blade HQ thing, right? Okay. TS-162. At one time, I think it was everybody's favorite TwoSun knife. Now they have so many others. It is a Wong design, of course. Wong makes right designs. Get that? It's a beautiful, I call it a leaf-shaped blade, a Filipino barong style blade, for those of you familiar with that. It's not of 14C 28N, but it is of 12C 27, another Sandvik steel and very similar in composition. Fantastic carbon fiber handle and titanium bolster. They upped the game with this one, and they did make one in M390. I think it's still available. I'm going to leave you, by the way, links to as many of these knives that are still available on White Mountain. You may be able to find them on eBay, used, or even maybe new, but some of them are older models, and I'm calling this kind of the oldie but goodie and unknown episode, because some of these you'll recognize, but some of them you may be seeing for the first time and not even known existed. So the TS-162, fantastic bolster lock, smooth shut, drop shut sort of action on bearings. Just a really classy knife in a non-classic sort of a shape. Nice jimping. Nice gear-like jimping on the titanium backspacer and all the way to the pommel. Titanium clip and no provision for left-hand carry, unfortunately. High flat grind, very slicey, very sharp. This steel was kind of made for kitchen knives, and that's not putting it down by any means. And that along with 14C. Very ergonomic, probably one of the most ergonomic TwoSuns, although they've come out with many since this. And this goes back, I think, a couple of years. So that's old in the knife world these days, isn't it? Something that's a month old is already old. But, you know, that's innovation. And, of course, that's marketing. Nice slotted lanyard hole. And I'm going to leave it at that because we've got to move on to 5 more. We'll bring you out again before we wrap up. Let's go to a very unusual one, I feel, and this is one of maybe 2 or 3 slip joint knives that I have, period, let alone TwoSun, and this is my only TwoSun slip joint. This is the TS-167. 167. It is a very unique design because there is your detent spring, and you can see that it hits a cutout there in the tang of the blade, and then it's going to rest again right there, and it's very tight, pretty safe as far as slip joints go. And it has that straight razor look to it with a bit of a belly. Deep fuller there, which is what you're using for your Call it a nail nick. It's a night morning design. It goes back probably a couple of years. And this is one of the few times I like that tapering hole pattern on the blade. It's got a trapezoidal sort of a handle with a nice contoured flat there. A bridge-like looking steel spring. Titanium handles. And what are they using for this blade? This is another 12C27. Right there. 12C27 and Night Morning's logo. Looks like mountains. Call that a sheep's foot if you like. Sort of a sheep's foot contour to the clip. And again, a very ergonomic handle. Slender, slim ergonomic handle. We may pull out the tape here and there just to give you an overall. So we've got a little over 8 inches on this knife. And on the TS162, 9 inches with almost a 4-inch blade. I like that because it's a big knife. And you know I like big knives. So 8 inches overall on this. It's a good medium-sized knife. Got a choil for your finger that's usable. And I think I originally sharpened this one on either, I think it was on a KME when I first got the KME. Touched up that blade, so it's got a pretty good edge on it, and it's a high flat grind anyway, so it is an extremely slicey knife and lightweight. Now I'm going to keep going in here and trying to unlock it with a liner or a lock bar, but that's not the case. The nice thing with this is too, and I'm not going to test it, but you do have that choil area in there, so if you make a mistake and keep going while your finger's there, there's a good chance you won't get cut. Very strong spring, so as slip joints go, it locks in very positively. So that is the slip joint TS167 night morning design. Here's a very unusual blade, and I've seen some reviews on this. A lot of people like it. And doesn't have much of a detent. I think it was too hard to start with, and I softened it up a little bit, which you can do by disassembling the knife and bending the lock bar out a little bit, but it can be adjusted again. It's not bad. So this has this interesting wavy blade, and this is the TS279. The design is by Night Morning once again, and this one is in 14C 28N. A little smudgy on the blade, but it is a beautiful satin blade. It is a frame lock with beautiful drop shut action and a great texture that's been textured and then bead blasted on this one. Very easy to middle finger flick, very easy to thumb flick. And look at that, I'm going to call it a double recurve. It's got a bit of, let's see if we can get a clearer shot. These other knives are interfering with the focus. So yeah, you've got almost a bit of a belly there, and then got your recurve out there and kind of a talon to the rest of the blade. Large hole, flat back, very aggressive short run of jimping. Got that gear-like pattern on the back spacer again. And interestingly, kind of a groove cut out for the tip of the blade. It doesn't really need it, but it prevents it from hitting the handle. And look at that blade to handle ratio. That blade is almost exactly as long as the handle. And that's how you're able to get a 3 3/4 inch blade in a less than 8.5 inch knife. Really, really nice. The 279. And all of these knives are coming in at probably at this point in time under $100 easily. Probably far less than that in some cases, and maybe in a few cases just a touch more. So I'm going to move on to the TS-191 Gulper. This is a Mazwan Mokhtar design. It is in a premium steel. It is in S90V. Nice grind. It's flat with almost kind of a Persian Bowie look to it, if I could label it that. Beautiful thumb ramp with aggressive jimping. Carbon fiber inlays. Nice detail work here. Fairly smooth. It's not aggressive on those two chamfers there, but nice mill work in there. And it is a completely enclosed knife except for the pivot area. You can see the seam. If that seam didn't show much more, it would almost look like an integral. Beautiful forward belly on that. If you like this Persian influence sort of a blade, you will love this knife. And it is not small by any means. This thing is 8 3/4 overall with a 3 3/4 inch blade. Good thickness out towards the point. As I said, nice jimping. Interesting pivot. Clip with a ceramic ball. So specialized that it is not transferable as far as I know. Anytime you see one screw, it's generally milled out in the handle so you don't get any wiggle. If there's two screws and you can't sort of tell, you might have a chance if there's two screws on that side of moving it over. But sometimes you don't know till you try. Sort of a forward finger choil there. Not bad. I mean, kinda. You can sort of put your finger in sideways. That is the Gulper by Mazwan Mokhtar, TS-191. Here's an oldie but goodie. This is called the Tusk, the TS-50. TS-50 Tusk. Just a beautifully crafted knife. And this one is a night morning design again. This is before he was putting a logo on there, his name just in script. Yes, it's D2. Just about all of the early TwoSun knives were D2. This one also comes in a G10 model, and I'm not sure this is still available at all. Pretty sure it isn't. But look at that interesting sheep's foot blade with that scalloped cutout there at the top. Nice swedge. The swedge is bead blasted. The flats are satin in two directions for the grind. High flat grind, very sharp, very slicey. Beautiful titanium milled sculpted handle. Excellent modern sort of clip. Not too many of these are deep carry, but that comes pretty close. And again, we've got that geared sort of backspacer for half the length of the handle. Jimping, pretty smooth, not very effective, just mainly for show on this one. It is a medium-sized knife. Looks small, but it's 8 inches with a blade 3.5 inches if you go right to that part of the handle. TS-50 Tusk, night morning design. Gorgeous, gorgeous knife. Glad I got this one in the collection, and this one will hang around. On bearing, smooth action. That leaves us with the last one, and I saved it for last because this is one I have not done a review on before, and I believe it is long out of production. Doesn't have a name, but it does have a number, of course. TS75. Check that out. This is a classic. Probably I will hang on to this. I almost got rid of it. This came in on a trade a few years back with somebody on the Facebook page. There's a Facebook TwoSun knife lovers or what have you. Night morning design. It's a faceted double grind tanto. Really nice with a little bit of upsweep to it, a little bit of upturn, a little bit of a Persian look to it. A big titanium flat here that is bead blasted. G10 hand, excuse me, G10 handle that's also milled. And this jimping on the back. It's just a really unusual design. It is not a large knife. It's just shy, maybe 7/7/8 with a blade about 3 1/4. Good thick stock. Probably coming up on 4mm. But interesting design. The TS75 lock bar. Interesting lock bar. Smooth action on bearings. Minimal flipper tab. The TS75. So, did I miss some in my own collection? Yep. Did I miss some in your collection? Yep. We'll keep doing these TwoSun reviews, however, in one way, shape, or form, but this is my last of 3. And putting them all out there, we'll point them out to you again, should you want to look them up. Again, if there's any that are available for sale at sites like White Mountain, I will put the links out there in the notes of the video. So, 191 Gulper, the 279, and this has a name too, and if you know it, let me know. TS162, the Slipjoint is the TS167, TS50 Tusk, and the TS75 Tonto. There you go. Hope you enjoyed this. Don't forget to give it a like and subscribe. I'll be back with you soon.